Hold please. We'll be back right after these dope messages. What's that sound? That's the sound of being able to eat whatever your yummy tummy desires while completing your Invisalign treatment. I love food, so I was ecstatic to still eat what I wanted by simply popping out those Invisalign aligners when I was ready to eat, which was super dope, especially compared to those days of restricted snacks with the traditional braces. Invisalign lets you do you. Not to mention they feel better and are less painful than braces. Invisalign gets you the results you want in as little as 6 months. Now peeps, please note that treatment time does vary depending on Invisalign product type, your wear time, and the complexity of what you and your soon-to-be straight teeth need. So that must be determined by your doctor. Call Bates Orthodontics today at 804-258-4268. And if you're listening to this late at night, then visit them at batesbraces.com. That is BATESBRACES.com. BatesBraces.com to book your free consult by clicking on the bright green button and following the 3 easy steps to reserve your appointment today. And for the peeps that are outside of Virginia, visit Invisalign.com. That is INVISALINGN.com and enter your zip code to find the best Invisalign provider for you. Let the dope peeps at Bates Orthodontics know Crystal sent you from the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast. And send me pics. I want to see those soon to be straight teeth peeps. There is only one you, and that is your superpower. You can't F that up. However, you can get stuck. That's why I created this space called Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons. Unstuck Yourself is about figuring out what has you feeling frustrated, isolated, or depleted of energy so that you're able to unstuck yourself on your journey through life when you don't know how to move forward. Unstuck yourself in your career that no longer excites and challenges you. Unstuck yourself with negative thoughts that seem to be doing cartwheels in your head consistently. I don't have the answers. You do. You always have. I'm providing the time, space, and grace for you to reconnect to that knowing. I'm Crystal Simmons, coach, speaker, and facilitator, and I'm grateful you made it here. Let's begin to unstuck yourself. Welcome back, peeps. It's me, Crystal, your favorite corporate coach, getting you unstuck by increasing your awareness to what is and isn't working, to highlight your innate abilities to take purposeful action. Today on Crystal Town Updates, actually, that's what this episode is going to be. It's going to be Crystal Town Updates. So let's get into it. Last week, I had the pleasure of speaking on a pro-choice action panel. And even though I was nervous when Katie had called me and she told me she wanted me to be on this panel that she was constructing like in real time, she actually used the analogy of I'm literally building the plane as it is flying in the air. And I commend her for going into action. And I haven't had the chance to really ask her like how it came about. But when she called me and we were speaking, I could hear it in her voice. She was focused. And when she asked, I got nervous. And there were various reasons of why I was nervous. The first thought, I told myself I'm not an expert. And as a matter of fact, I heard people speaking about Roe versus Wade and it could be overturned. And to be completely honest, I was like, what does that mean? I just knew it wasn't productive from my perspective. And when it happened, I remember my husband telling me, my initial thoughts were, I should know more about this. I should actually do research. So I kept shoulding on myself of things that I should know, I don't know, now I feel bad or shameful. And when she asked me, I felt that same surge like in my chest of discomfort. And the second thought I had was, I don't even know what I could share. If I'm not an expert or I haven't studied this topic, what can I share? And right after that, I was like, I could figure out something. The third thought was, I didn't want to say anything that was incorrect or taken out of context or misunderstood by me, and thus sharing with other people they didn't understand it or wouldn't understand it. And even though this happened very quickly, like in my body, these are like, ooh, I'm not an expert. Ooh, what would I talk about? What if I said something wrong? What if it was very quick, and I just listened. And when she asked, I was quiet, and I responded to her, I'm thinking. And she said, I could hear you thinking, which I thought was funny. She's funny. But I could feel it in my throat and my chest. And I decided, when I feel that in my body, that hesitation, that pause, that for some people it might be a feeling in your belly. You might have tingles in the back of your neck. You might get a headache. You might not feel it in your body at all. You might just have the thought of no. You might hear the voice of like, I don't know if we want to do that. I don't know. You may have had the same thoughts, or they might be different. But I have been consciously increasing my awareness of those feelings. So I decided, when I'm feeling that feeling, I would take purposeful action. So I told her, yeah, I'll do it. And I was going to figure out the how afterwards. And if you notice, I spoke about awareness, me feeling like I didn't know how I was going to do it. Like, what am I capable of? What are my abilities? What am I able to do? And then taking action. Those triple A's, awareness, abilities, and action, can be used in any order. And I say that because as I was thinking back to that conversation, I was aware of the feeling. I was very aware of the feeling. And what came after that was, I got to do it anyways, because I feel like I missed out on a lot of opportunities, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to play it safe. I don't want to fly under the radar, especially with things that are so important and has great meaning for not only me, but so many women and men and non-binary all around who support humans having autonomy on their own bodies. So I just say, with the triple A's, you can use them in whatever order works for you. So I said yes to Katie, because I knew if Katie was organizing something, she was going to make sure it was informative, that it was helpful, that it was powerful, that it contained action. Like, action was actually in the panel. It was a pro-choice action panel. We're going to take action. Had I said no, I don't know how many walls I would have put up around myself, because I learned so much in that saying yes. Even though I felt like I wasn't the expert, even though I was nervous and fearful that I would share the wrong information, even though I didn't know what it would look like. I've never talked about this subject publicly with strangers on a panel, all of that. We were not just speaking on the panel. We were not just sharing our viewpoints on this subject matter. We all were taking action. The people who emailed Katie to get the Zoom information took action. The people who didn't have their cameras on but listened intently, they were taking action. The people who participated in the chat when they first got on, and Katie asked, how is everyone feeling? They took action. They named their feelings. They were aware of this being sad, scary, nervous, overwhelmed. All of those feelings and so many more. In order for us all, the speakers and the attendees, to determine what taking action looks like for each of us during that call and after that call. And some people felt overwhelmed and said, I'm going to sit with this information. And that was part of my role. I came in to say, yeah, you probably have a bunch of feelings. I did too, of feeling stuck. What do I do when all of this information is flooding in and it feels like just a foreign language? I don't know how to decipher it. I don't know if this is good or bad, optimistic, negative. What is this? What do I do with all of this? And I'm thankful I attended because I got clarity for me. What felt good for me? And I stayed in my lane. My lane was allowing people to feel their feelings, letting them know you are completely normal. Also sharing that dialectic thinking where two opposites can be true at the same time. And for this in particular, it was a lot of that. There wasn't this all or none type of discussions. There were conversations about the gray areas. And that's where the magic happens. When we start thinking black or white, all or none, good or bad, right or wrong, those are just two options. And now we're just fighting each other. I'm right, you're wrong. No, you're wrong, I'm right. But the gray area provides so many various options. And that's where I wanted to be. Both sides suck. It fucking sucks. It does. I can see both sides, but I can have empathy and sympathy for both sides. Because when we're so steadfast in just one way, we're judging other people and we're not getting to the root that this is bigger than just you're right, I'm wrong. No, I'm right, you're wrong. No, we don't get anywhere with that. So I'm so thankful for this opportunity that I got to speak, because what happened next was just so many perspectives that were shared. Before this panel, I felt stuck in this topic, bringing it up. What do I say? What don't I say? How do I participate? How do I do something? Okay, maybe not do anything, or I don't want to talk about it. And that's not helpful for me or anyone else. We then go into these little silos by ourselves when we know we are built to be with others. We're not built to be by ourselves. From time to time, yes, but this is a major topic, and feeling like you're not the expert, feeling like you're not a protester or an activist or whatever label you want to use can be very intimidating, because you feel as though you have to have that title to even step into the conversation. And all I'm saying is, no, babe, there's some gray area in this, and you can still stand in that conversation. And I can say that because I feel that now. Because despite of being scared, nervous, I was tired of being stuck and outside of the conversation, just letting it happen. And some of the conversations that you may have been witness to hasn't been very beneficial or empowering or uplifting or hopeful or optimistic. So there was an OBGYN on the panel, and she shared something that I always wondered about when they speak about doctors performing abortions. I'm like, how do they get trained? And she shared that abortion services are learned, and they're similar to what doctors have to do when there's a miscarriage. So when people are thinking like, oh, we need to stop the funding for training for this, it's not black or white. They're not just trained to give abortions. No. If a mother's water breaks too early, they will do this procedure. Or if the mother is close to death and they have to save her life, this procedure is done. This is not a black or white, right or wrong, all or none, good or bad. The lawyer who was on the panel, she came on and she started by saying she's actually optimistic. And hearing her say that gave me comfort, because I don't do well in the quiet, in the hiding. And I know I'm a light. So I need to know that I'm a light. And in order for me to shine my light, I have to know that I'm light. So my thoughts have to be light. My spirit has to be light. And I would say it was kind of dim going in because I was still nervous. And when she shared, she's more optimistic because now we get to rebuild this. Some of the takeaways that I got from the lawyer sharing was this was about bodily autonomy, and it's not limited to just providing abortions. And that the Roe Act was created to shield providers and the patients. And that now that it's been reversed, our options are to focus on the state level, to put our efforts towards the state level. They did provide some suggestions to take purposeful action, but there's things that we can do individually, as a group, to help in any way. You don't have to go big. If that feels intimidating, scary, has you feeling stuck, that's not your option, and that's cool too. My dedication was to give time and help out with giving that space that Katie opened up last week. So every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna do my darndest to be there to either moderate, speak again, but definitely share this safe space for pro-choice for those who want to take an action. And before we wrap up, I'm just gonna share a couple of them. First one is to call or write elected officials, and that could be locally or help other people in other areas. You could do that as well. It doesn't have to be just where you are. Any effort or action is received and appreciated, and it helps. If one person out of 3 or 4 does something, that is major. How many people are in this world? 7 billion? It's probably still growing. Just think about that. You can donate time by volunteering, call a local organization, asking them what they need. You can tell your story. You can normalize the experience for other people who may have had this procedure done. You can also hit up Planned Parenthood, ACLU, and Emily's List, EMILY''S List, LIST, to donate as well and learn more. This whole experience has been eye-opening for me, and I hope that it will be eye-opening for you all as well. For those who still feel like I don't know what to do, fair enough. But I would beg to differ that given the chance to just hear different perspectives and not the one side versus the other side, but just the information, not trying to sway you either way, but just information. That instead of us fighting each other, getting the facts, getting different perspectives to get unstuck. And maybe that's providing empathy or sympathy for someone else in your neighborhood, at your church, at work, at school, that maybe you didn't give it to them before. After that call, so many people stated how hopeful they felt then, how they were thankful to hear those perspectives because they just felt so unsure of what to do next. They felt so defeated, so lost, so hopeless. And all of those feelings are understandable. They are not to be ashamed. This is some tough shit. It is. And you have the right to feel your feelings. And when you get to the point of recognizing that those feelings are no longer productive, they're not providing clarity, they're impeding with your mental health, physical health, your ability to eat, your ability to receive pleasure and peace, try one small action. And that action can be in the form of you opening up your phone, clicking on your email app, type in the subject line, Wednesday evening information, and I'll send you the weekly pro-choice action panel information, and I'll send you the information for the meeting today. If you're listening to this episode the day that it came out, we will be meeting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless something happens and we can't. But the idea is for us to do it every week. If you want to just hear different perspectives in terms of how do we not become the victims? How do we acknowledge what has happened, but also decided what we're now able to do with this information, with this action, with this reversal? And when you're feeling up to it, send me an email, crystal@crystalclearpurposes.com, and I'll send you information so you can hear, invite other people, and gain that hope back. Become a little bit more optimistic. There's no fight. Action, clarity, bigger picture. That's where the power is. And even after hearing this, you do nothing. Please know you did something. You listened to this podcast. You may have shared this podcast with someone else that you know who is feeling like they want to do something and they've told you they don't know what to do. You could send them this information. and I'll be happy to send them that Wednesday night information for them to join, and then hit send on the email. No explanation needed, no follow-up information needed, just crystal@crystalclearpurposes.com, subject line, Wednesday night information, send, and I'll send it right back to you. And with that being said, I want to thank y'all for listening and taking action, because you have a choice. We all have choices each and every damn day. We are presented with different challenges, obstacles. Some might say opportunities. Some may say good or bad. Everything is an opportunity in life. Everything. We get to decide what we want to do with those opportunities, how we want to show up with those opportunities, how we will take purposeful action in our own way. And it looks different for all of us. My question is, what will you choose?